The game's for everyone, new Passtech here, and this is kind of a new video I want to try, based off the game Curse of the Dead Gods. When I ended up playing Curse of the Dead Gods on the channel, I really enjoyed it, and I want to do something more with it, but I know I just playing it and recording, I didn't want to do that for you back to back, so I decided to make on this big project on Curse of the Dead Gods. Not this, of course, this is just a trailer. This is not mine. This does certainly look cool, but this is not mine. But I wanted to make a big project of Curse of the Dead Gods, pretty much saying everything about the game, the bosses, the area, the lore, and the story, and history in general of the Curse of the Dead Gods. Hope you enjoyed the video. Passtech Games, the company that started Curse of the Dead Gods. I think since I gave you some lore on a actual Curse of the Dead Gods game, and that's what you'll be receiving in this video, I did want to have a small segment of me telling you the history of the company that was behind it. Now, Curse of the Dead Gods is not their first game, but their most popular game before Curse of the Dead Gods was Master of Anima. Now, Master of Anima came out in 2018, and after it was done, in that year, they started working on Curse of the Dead Gods. The early access to Curse of the Dead Gods came out in March 2020, and the full release of the game came out in February 2021. Now, one of the coolest things by far to me by the company is the distinctive art style of both games. Master of Anima has such a different art style from Curse of the Dead Gods. If you compare the art styles here, you can really see that it almost looks like it was made by two completely different teams and developers in general. Now, obviously, if you can't tell, Curse of the Dead Gods was heavily inspired by Darkest Dungeon, which is famously known for its dark and grimy art style. Truly, both have amazing art styles, and both are truly amazing games. My apologies, I don't mean to get too carried away talking about how amazing Passtech Games is. I'm not here for that. You already know that, hopefully. But what I'm here to talk about is Curse of the Dead Gods, as I said earlier in the video, of all the things that we'll be going over on the game. Let's begin. Now, the first area has to be one of their most interesting. As you can see, there's bones and broken glass all over the ground, but one of the most interesting parts for sure is definitely the enemies. Now, the enemies are these strange, mutated looking dead corpses that walk around and try to fight you. There's traps everywhere, some shoot fire, others spikes from the ground. And these enemies most likely all follow the Dark Avatar of the Jaguar. Dark Avatar of the Jaguar is the first boss that you experience during the game, who was transformed like that by the God of Death. Now, the mage's enemies are probably one of the strongest that you fight, because they constantly put corruption on you. And corruption makes it difficult to pass on to the next areas because you'll get a curse on you. And that's another thing that I want to talk about in the game, the curse. Now, the thing about curse in this game which is so cool, is that it's like a double-edged sword. You'll get something bad with the curse, but you'll also get something good. Like, the curse is now blinding greed. Money on the ground is going to disappear, but there will be a lot more money, which is one reason why I love this game so much, because of the reason of curse. It adds so much more fun, diverse mechanic in the game, but it's not all good, of course. If you get your curse too much, if you look on the bottom right screen, there's a red curse. And that curse is going to be only something bad, making your run nearly impossible, which makes it really fun. That way you have to watch how much curse you get, but you might also want to get curse to put more spice and more fun in your run. Some even go up to the 5th curse just because they want more of a challenge in their run. Well, my apologies, I almost forgot how to mention how you get curse. Well, the way you get curse is between multitude of things. Going to another room gives you a small amount of curse. You can sacrifice your blood to the gods, which will also give you curse. You won't just automatically get curse, it will have a slowly build up meter, as you can see at the bottom right, where it will slowly build up. And it's another thing where it really makes you watch what you want to do. The Dark Avatar of the Jaguar, the very first boss you actually fight in the game. Now, he's not a very difficult boss. He'll send jaguars at you after summoning them through his spears, and he'll throw his spears at you from time to time, which will quickly grow them back to throw more at you. But other than that, as long as you keep your distance, the boss fight's pretty easy. Going more into the lore of the boss battle, his real name is not, of course, Dark Avatar of the Jaguar. His real name is Tamal. Now, Tamal was turned into what he is now by the god of death. Now, he was turned into this as a way to mock for his power and because he was known for his Jaguars. Now, he's trapped like this for the gods' entertainment, just like you are. A simple way for you to defeat him and the gods to witness a great battle between two strong people. But he has the same vengeance as you do against the gods. He hates the gods for what they have done to him, for how they had trapped him. So, yeah, just like you, he has a strong hate against them. That's about it about him. Sadly, though, we don't have too much lore on him as a character. He's just a person who's transformed into this for entertainment and someone you have to defeat. A very fun boss battle, though. And he will always probably remain my favorite boss battle. The Noble's Quarter, probably one of my favorite out of the 3 areas that goes throughout the game. Now, the Noble's Quarter is a very interesting place. This place has a lot of traps that honestly get me every time I go to this area. The thing about this place, though, is the nature between it that I really like. The constant grass that you can see throughout the area and the views, the moist, wet kind of atmosphere it gives off, stuff that I really like about the area. Things you fight in this area are bird-like creatures who shoot a variety of different things at you, arrows, magic, a lot of different stuff. Some don't even fly, some just walk towards you intimidatingly. But definitely one of my favorite areas with some very beautiful views, as you can see. Lord of the Storm, HooKSounds. Now this boss battle is very interesting. There's quite a lot of lore behind it as well. Let's start off simple. So first, we don't actually know if he was royalty or not. As far as we can see here, he's called the High Lord, and even after you beat him, you can witness his throne room in the back of the room. But whether he was royalty before or after his pact with the god Yachts, which he gave him deadly power, is unknown. When Yachts gave him deadly power, though, he was ruling with ruthless cruelty for centuries on end. Constantly, he was a horrible person, to say the least. And this is where the god of death actually does something good for people. He ended up taking him over, or taking him down from his throne and putting him down here, where he wanders sadistically, constantly wanting to hurt someone, or just hurt anything in general. The most interesting part about him is that he doesn't look like everyone else you meet. In the dungeon, we can see that everyone is like a bird-like creature, but we can see here that he obviously took over the bird-like creatures and made them his slaves, to say his underlings, because if you look closely at his cloak, you can see bird feathers all surrounding the rim of the cloak, which is very interesting because it shows that whoever the previous leader was, well, let's just say that they're not around anymore. His inspiration actually comes from Diablo 2 Mephisto, and his attacks are inspired from Diablo himself in the game. Very interesting boss and a very fun one to play. I have a love-hate kind of relationship with this place. I really love the atmosphere, the dark and grimy like atmosphere, and the enemies being absolutely horrifying, creepy things, maggots that explode, strange enemies that constantly shoot poison at you. And that's the part where I hate this area a lot. Throughout this entire area, you will get poisoned so much, like a lot. There's traps that poison you, there's enemies that poison you, the maggots poison you, absolutely everything in this area poisons you. But the atmosphere really makes up for it. The enemies are all very interesting and creepy, and it's generally an area that I really like. To say the least, she's a incredibly fun boss. All of her attacks, though, they all inflict corruption upon you. So getting hit is, you don't want to get hit at all by her, but her attacks are so fun to play against and dodge against. She probably has my favorite attack pattern it's really just a blast to play against her. To go about lore, sadly we don't have much on her actually. As far as we can tell, she's just a diseased looking hag with a bloody bag of skulls on her back. She used these skulls to attack you a lot in the boss battle, but we don't really know much about her lore in general. By reading the journal of our main character, our protagonist, we can tell that it says that the god of death is amused by her as she throws skulls like potato bombs. So apparently he likes her, but other than that, we don't know much about her, sadly. She's a very fun boss though, but by far one of my favorite attack patterns. And I love the arena that you have to fight her in. The way that you can see the whatever souls or just mist coming from the ground as you fight her, truly just is such a cool effect I love. Not too bad of a boss, but just a really fun one in general.